A persecuted Christian once told me that Christmas was all about courage. He had been an evangelist in a revival province and he'd gone from village to village, and usually he was welcomed and he'd seen great fruit. One day he arrived at a village and they were not happy, and they were not happy to see him. And they said, we've had a disaster here. A couple have had their baby stolen and they're very sad about it. This is what happens in some of these villages. Gangs will roam around the countryside and steal newborn babies to sell to wealthy couples in the cities. So he said, take me to this couple. I'd like to pray for them. I said, I have a God that came as a baby. He's very powerful. Let me pray. So they said, all right, what have we got to lose? So he went and prayed for them. And he prayed and he prayed and he prayed. And he opened his eyes and he saw they were very angry. And I said, look, you're wasting our time. Your God is doing nothing. Why don't you get out of here? And he tried to keep praying for them. And then they began to get very, very angry and beat him up. And they said, don't come back to this village or we'll kill you. So he's walking away, going to another village, which is about half a day's walk away. When he stops and he realizes, well, it's coming up to Christmas. And a verse comes into his mind from John chapter 1, where Jesus comes to the world. And it says, he was in the world, but the world did not recognize him. He came to his own, and his own people would not accept him. And he thought Jesus came to bring salvation to the world, knowing the world would kill him, crucify him, and still he came. That took courage. So he thought, I need to go back to that village and share the gospel more completely with them, knowing that they might beat me up. He began to walk back to the village. Of course, this time he was taking a different route back. He suddenly hears this little cry in the air, and it's coming from a well. And he looks down this dry well, it's only 6 foot deep, and he sees a baby, almost blue at the bottom. And he clambers down and he picks it up and he unwraps it and he realizes what the problem is. This is the baby that was stolen from the village, but those who had stolen it had realized it was a girl. No market for girls. So they had just discarded it. So he went back to the village and they were delighted to see him, and he began to tell them about Christmas. Christ came to a village called the world, knowing they would kill him. I came back to this village knowing you would beat me up. If I hadn't come back, I'd never have heard the baby. You could never have had the child restored to you. He said, Christmas takes courage. Christ came knowing his fate, knowing what the world would do, and still he came. That's Christmas. Christmas took courage.